Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dimitri Johnson, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
Hello and welcome to MMA Latest. This is our preview for UFC Fight Night 157 in Shenzhen in China. As always, this is brought to you by the good folks at BETBULL. If you'd like to see what bets we are placing on the UFC, and it is one of the few places that you can get a bet on the UFC, come follow MMA Latest on there. The link is in the description. 18 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. So it is the second ever UFC event in mainland China, and it is the first time that the country has staged a title fight. It's also the second time in less than a month that a fight night has staged a title fight, with Shevchenko and Carmouche in Uruguay being the last one. First fight that we are going to be talking about then is Jingliang versus Dos Santos in the co-main event at welterweight. Dos Santos is considered by many to be one of the most underrated fighters in the entire company. The Brazilian is riding a 7-fight win streak in the division, holding a 7-1 record, and is currently ranked number 14 in the welterweight division. The capoeira specialist is coming off a second-round submission of highly touted prospect Curtis Millender in March. Jingliang himself is 6-1 in his last 7 fights at 170, 4 of those being finishes. The Leech hasn't fought, however, since November last year after a TKO win against Zawada, coincidentally in Beijing. Should Santos get the W, a top 10 opponent is a must, while Jingliang is fighting for that coveted number next to his name. Jingliang is currently 11-5 and Dos Santos the 4-11 favourite. Now, I agree with the bookies on this one, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I will be putting my money on Santos in my ACCA. In the main event then, Jessica Andrade against Zhang Weili, the main event. Andrade's first defence of her title since beating Rose Namajunas back in May at UFC 239. The champ is currently on a 4-fight win streak, including 2 brutal knockouts against former champ Namajunas and former title contender Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Weili currently boasts one of the most impressive pro records in women's MMA with a 19-1 record. She hasn't lost since her pro debut all the way back in 2013. Magnan currently boasts a 3-0 record in the UFC, including a bloody submission victory over Jessica Aguilar back in November 2018. She is looking to become the first ever Asian champion in UFC history. Andrade is bookies' favourite at 4-7, while Zhang is 7-5. I think there's some value in backing Zhang, and that's exactly what I am going to do. That's giving me odds of 2.3-1 over both of those 2 fights, and I think that's very well worth having. As I said earlier, if you want to come and see what we're doing on BETBULL, the link is in the description. Please be 18 and over, gamble responsibly, and come and see all the different bets that we are putting on for every week in the UFC. Elsewhere in MMA, there's been some cracking fight announcements. Former interim title contender Kelvin Gastelum will welcome Darren Till to the middleweight division when they clash at UFC 244 in New York on November the 2nd. This is a very exciting fight, and I'm really interested to see what Till can do at middleweight. Gastelum himself knows the difference it can make going a tad heavier and moving up to 185. Can and will it have the same impact on Darren Till? Former interim welterweight champion Carlos Condit will return to action on the 7th of December as he faces upstart contender Mickey Gall, UFC ESPN 7 in Washington, D.C. Condit is currently on a 5-fight loss streak, winning only 2 of his last 10. Such a fan favourite, I think many are going to be hoping that he manages to turn it round in December. On Tuesday, UFC President Dana White confirmed that targeted plans for the welterweight title fight between Usman and Covington will take place at UFC 244 in New York on November the 2nd. This is going to be such an interesting fight. Will it go down to who is the better wrestler? Will it go down to who has the best cardio? Or, as we've very often seen with 2 wrestlers, will they choose to stand and bang it out? Let me know in the comments how you see this one going down, because I think this is very interesting. Side note, Colby, the helmet that he is, has decided that he's calling out everyone, including Nick Diaz, a man who hasn't fought since 2015 and hasn't had a win since 2011, and even that came against BJ Penn. Diaz has responded, obviously, by telling Colby to step in my motherfucking range and come at me, bro. Did you expect anything else? No, me either. Finally, undefeated Welsh prospect and former Cage Warriors bantamweight champion Jack Shaw will make his first appearance in the octagon when he faces Nolan Hernandez at UFC Copenhagen on September the 28th. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. I'll be back with Brendan on Wednesday. Come and follow MMA Latest on BETBULL, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.